All right, so welcome into ClickUp. I said I'd do this to try to get us on the same page a little bit here. And I think this is just going to be ideally an idea of how this PCB design teach group will use ClickUp for this. My guess is it won't be integrated anywhere else, so that should make it easy. But we're going to try to do this professionally without wasting your guys' time here on ClickUp. But this should be where everybody starts off on their homepage when they log in. It should just be your Bethel login under your bethel.edu address. And so you go to the homepage, and there's a lot of places to go. This is a tool that would be worth getting to know, but you don't need to do that necessarily. There's a lot of, you can do anything with it, and a byproduct of that is it gets really confusing. But for the purposes of PCB design, what I have set up is it's going to be in a space. So spaces is kind of the entry point for a lot of ClickUp stuff. It's where all the work lives. So if we go into a space, here we have all of our spaces. So any of these icons here are considered our spaces. The one we're going to live in, obviously, is going to be the electrical team. So you want to go ahead and open up electrical team. And this is the folder. So now inside of space, you have lists and you have folders. And this is the folder we're all going to live in for some, to keep everything consolidated on where things are happening. So it's going to be this PCB design training. Let me actually get rid of this guy as we're here. So I'm going to make that. So you can click into here. And right now this is going to be empty because we haven't done anything. I'll try to populate this overview page as we start populating the folder itself. Kind of the main thing to know about this view is going to be this task by status, which I guess I'll go over that when we create a list because it's not going to populate. So this is where we're going to live. And so what everybody's going to need to do to kick off, I don't know what to call it, but to kick off intention to train, I guess, intention to build your own board, you're going to want to go in here to this PCB design training. Everybody should have access to it. I can double check it. Sharing and permissions. Share with. Everybody has full edit. Yep. So everybody should be able to edit this folder. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit this plus sign on the folder. You're going to add a list. And, everybody can name it whatever they like. The big thing I want is I want name on there. And I'm just going to do teach project because this is the one I'm going to base off of teaching everybody. So somewhere in there, just put your name so I know it's yours at first glance, and then you can name it whatever you want. Be reasonable what you name it, please, but be professional. But you can name it whatever you need to, or you can just call it training project or training or whatever it's going to be. The location is going to be design, and do not make it private. So go ahead and create. And this is going to populate, see a list over here, so we can collapse this down. And so electrical team, PCB design training, and now we have this list. If you want to be fancy, you can change the icon, change the color of it to, pick your favorite color that you like. Well, don't change the color. Actually, I forgot about that part. These are phases. Do not change the color. You can change the icon though. Don't change the color. And so this is going to be where all your tasks live. One of the things I want to try to do in some of this teach tape is also teach how to organize your thoughts a little bit instead of it just being here's how you do the CAD work and then not give you any help on how to organize timetables and data compilation and all these things, right? So we're going to try to do our best to, teach holistic project understanding. So you don't have to start from scratch on some of those things. So this is where that type of stuff is going to live. The main thing to understand is always a task is always going to live in backlog to start, and backlog is we know we need to do it, but we're not working on it. So, I can just do test here and hit enter, and that just adds a test. And that's our first task. And then if I were to be working on it, I put it into working on. In these training folders, I have a status for everybody that should be needs assistance. And this I've customized, by the way. So if you're wondering why that's popping up here, and if you try to do it on your own, it's not popping up. It's because I've built these into this folder in this space, because I figured this is how it'd be used the most. So we've got a backlog, you've got working on. So whatever task you're currently working on, you put it in there. Needs assistance is a good flag so that anyone's looking through can realize, like, oh, okay, we need help on this. In reviews, you've submitted it to somebody to review it. Waiting is you've done as much as you can, and you've gotten work done, but you are forced to wait on it because something else needs to be done first. And so, or could mean completed, but you can't put it into effect because you're waiting on somebody else. And close means done. Like, we've finished it. We don't need to touch it anymore. We don't need to do any more work on it. Closing out's very difficult. And when you close out, we can always go back. One of the things you should do, and they've probably changed this. Yes. So this should be this way already to start, but make sure you go up here and make sure for this, well, let's see what it looks like. Yep. So it'll say closed. And what you want to make sure is task and subclass task show when they close. That way, when you close, it doesn't disappear. It can be annoying when you close something out and it disappears forever and you don't know where it is, because oftentimes you want to look back at that work. So just make sure that is set right. And so now your space is kind of set up, and this is all you need to get to. I'm not going to mess with anything else. Just get here, maybe put a task in here like this, and just get your what would be called a list in ClickUp, get that going. Because once we have that going, we can start to actually populate it with tasks. And you'll see now in this task by status that we have organized by project and what tasks are going on. So this is a quick snapshot way to see what everybody's up to. So it's ideally in ClickUp, if we could get there to start, that'd be great with everybody. That way I can get an idea of who's actually working on something too and who's not. It's a way for me, instead of having to track everybody down, as long as you're keeping this updated, I can see how things are going and I can step in and help. So on top of that, we have your space in the folder. So working in the PCB design training folder, create your list, get it configured. It should already be mostly configured, but just double check that you've got, I would double check you have these statuses, and then I'd double check that this is set properly. And then the last thing, and this one is very important for communication. ClickUp now has an integrated Slack type channel structure in it, which I was very excited about when it came out. We never got to use it too much, but this chat bar feature on the sideline, or the sidebar, we have a channel for this folder. It's called PCB Design Training. Everybody I know that is potentially doing this training is already forced to be a follower, which means you should get a notification when someone chats in here. And this is just going to be our way to keep in communication, keep up with people, and I can give updates. I can let people know when things are posted. I can let people know when things need to be adjusted, yada, yada, yada. It's just a good centralized place. And if you have questions, I'd prefer you put them in here so that everybody can see them, so that other people can learn from it. But if you really, really don't want to, it's okay to direct message me as well on the side. But please consider putting it in here, and then everybody can benefit from working with it. So that's kind of your two spots. There's a lot of things in ClickUp. Got to filter out the noise. Where we're going to be working is an electrical team in the folder PCB design, and you will be working in your individual lists that you need to create. And then when we want to communicate, we'll go up to this chat spot up here. And so that's the initial setup. In the design videos, I'll go through more of setting up your list to be helpful to you as a project manager, and helpful to you in your design process. But for now, this is the base of maybe understanding ClickUp and getting set to get ready to be successful. So if we can get here to start, that would be great.